Welcome back to part two, and we're talking to Holly, who is with Cornerstone of Health out of
My
Tuscaloosa,
favorite
Alabama.
friend.
Out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We hope you tuned into part one. Part two, Holly, what are we going to talk about this time?
Pain.
Ah,
Pain is the name of the game here. So
So
I see a lot of people, a lot of
it's
pain.
pain management. All right. Tell us 3 points you're going to discuss, and then let's discuss them.
Okay, so there's one big fancy word that we have to learn, and it's called myofascial tissue.
Yep, that's
And
a big word. I have no idea what it means.
right, so myofascial tissue. So not facial, but fascial. So in between every bone, every tissue, every piece of skin, every ligament, every tendon, there is this gelatinous tissue that has a miraculous ability to turn from glue and tight to liquid. So it's basically liquid to solid, liquid to solid. And God designed that. Now, any meat eaters would know, and I grew up a meat eater, is when you pull apart a piece of steak or chicken, yeah, you're going to have what they call the gristle. A lot of people are familiar with that. But if you really pay attention, there's a glistening fiber between even the muscle of the meat that you're about to eat. And they're like, ooh, look at that, it's glistening. That is the myofascial tissue. That is where pain sets in. So
Oh,
when you reach up and you go, oh, wait, my shoulders are tight, you're actually, it's not a knot. It's not a knot in the muscle. It's a clump of myofascial tissue. Now, this part I will try to get through there pretty quickly, but you said give you 3 points. So myofascial tissue, and then
we're going
the
to come
other,
back and discuss them in
that's
detail.
one,
So let's just
right?
identify them.
So that's point one, and then point two is going to be the body's inflammatory response.
There's a lot of talk about information
Right.
and how many things
Yeah,
are
this
caused by
my full presentation alone, if you sat here and we had an individual, is about an hour long if you want to go into depth and really understand, but we'll try to zoom through it as quick. And we'll come back in a moment. But then the third one is pain release therapy.
pain release therapy.
Right. It's basically a method. It's a certain method.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all self stretch. Okay. I don't actually even have to put my hands on anyone at all. I can if it's, it's body rubs, stuff like that, laying, nice oils on there that help relax. However, this is stuff you do at home and it's absolutely free.
And you do it, and you
Free.
don't need anyone to help you do it. You can do it on your own. That's what you meant by
Right.
management.
Exactly. Once you learn, yeah, absolutely. As long as you know how to listen to the body. So point number one, myofascial tissue. Do you want me to go ahead and dive into
Let's talk about
a little bit more? Okay. So whenever, and I'm going to move this over for a moment, I got to explain why the myofascial tissue is important. So when we suffer, yeah, there we go. So myofascial tissue, if this is your ankle, now I'm an excellent artist, by the way. No, I'm not. This is my little foot here. Okay, I'm going to pull this up closer. So if this is your foot and your ankle, and you break this, this is just like if we're going to pretend that, Judith, you own a 5-story building downtown Atlanta.
Okay.
So this is my brick. See, I told you I was such a good artist.
Okay.
So over next to you, so this is Judith's building.
Okay.
So this is a little skyscraper. Over here, you got Mr. Sam. He owns the 10-story building next to you.
Okay.
Is that tall enough? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, close. Anyway, it's tall enough. So he does some demo work.
Okay.
He just brought a wrecking ball. Let me use the red. He just brought a wrecking ball in to do his demo work, and he accidentally hit your building right smack dab in the middle.
Okay.
Now, what is your first response going to be? As the owner of this building, what is your first response?
Christian response and non-Christian response.
Behave. Okay. So, but for real, like, what are you going to do?
My building is ruined above the break.
Okay. Right.
In
So
fact,
your first response is
not
going to
only
be
is it,
assessing.
Wait, not only is it ruined above the break, but I'm terrified that the top part is now falling down into the bottom
That's
part.
right.
Ruin that. So the
So
whole
what's
thing
the
could be
what
torn.
is your contractor when you reach out to that general? We'll put GC right here. That general contractor. What's his first active response to this break in the building?
Probably say he's gonna look at the damage to see if it can be repaired using the same foundation, or whether or
Hmm.
not we're gonna have to tear it down and come back up again.
So he's got to get workers and stuff up there, right?
Right,
And he's got to shore it up, as they say.
right.
What's he going to put up?
Scaffolds, is that what
Scaffolding.
scaffolds are called?
Yep,
Yeah.
scaffolding.
Mhm.
So now we pause that and we say, what does the body do? What is your first sign that you have a broken ankle? What's the first
Swelling,
thing?
swelling.
You have pain,
Oh, yeah, pain, yeah, pain and swelling.
and then you got inflammation, like you say, swelling, inflammation,
Mhm. Then you
and
got more,
you
wait,
might have
wait,
red,
wait, wait, and then you got some more pain.
right, and then more pain, and then ow, screaming.
Yeah.
So you're calling your doctor, and
Mhm.
he's going to do what?
So the splint,
X-ray.
okay, X-ray.
He's got to do his test, right? He got to know
Right,
what he's
right,
working with.
X-ray,
It's just
right.
like you said with this guy over here. He's got to look at it and go, well, what, we got to assess the situation.
Okay.
Well, how long does it take? Now, this is where it speeds up quickly. So, how long does it take to heal a broken ankle?
A long time.
Well, I mean, just a broken bone in general is going to be a good, what, 6 to 8 weeks, right?
Right?
About 2 months. You break your ankle in summertime, it's over. No swimming, right? Okay, so over here, Judith, you have called your general contractor. He goes and gets his electrician and he gets his little brick guy and he gets the guy that's going to put in this sheetrock and the plumbing. He goes and gets all these little workers. That's
Mhm.
kind of like whenever the doctor does that. He sends the x-ray. He might send you to an MRI. He might send you to all these tests, right?
Mhm.
Well, over here, in 6 to 8 weeks, your broken ankle can heal. Your general contractor could probably get this building fixed functionally again in 6 to 8 weeks. So great.
Only if the damage is not
Right,
catastrophic. Yeah.
right. It's
Okay. Yeah.
still a break, but he was
Yeah.
able to fix those walls, put
Yeah.
those windows back in, and he's got your little tenants able to get back up there. Great.
Okay.
You
You're very
come back.
optimistic. You're very optimistic, but go ahead.
Oh, I know. That maybe 20 years ago it might have happened. All right, so you come and you're like, he calls you and he says, Judith, I got your building back in order. Oh, good, thank you. So you go cha-ching and you pay him his money. He's happy. He goes and pays his subcontractors. Now, you come back 6 months later, you're walking through and your tenants, they go, Miss Judith, the scaffolding is still up
Okay.
around the building. How many times walk through the downtown and you can't get through because why? Because they've got scaffolding and they block the sidewalk off. Now, the reason I'm telling you that, sometimes the body does the same thing. The inflammation and all that pain and redness, the scaffolding the body put up
Mhm.
for your broken ankle, sometimes the body fails to take it back down after the injury is already healed. So you go back 6 months later to the doctor and you say, Doc, I'm still hurting. He goes, well, it's not broke. I took the cast off. You're walking on it. You go, yeah, but I'm hurting. It shouldn't hurt. What's the deal? So he sends you for another x-ray. He gives you pain meds, opioids. He gives you PT, physical therapy. He puts you in the MRI. He sends you for little, ultrasounds, and then you got to do this and run around. Round and round it goes, and you never get off the pain Ferris wheel, just over and
Okay.
over.
Okay. I'm following
So,
you that far.
right. And so here's what happens is if that scaffolding was still up on that building, you'd be calling the general contractor saying, you better take that scaffolding down and
Right.
do it now. I
Right.
already paid you your money. You paid your people. Take it down. I
Okay.
need, okay, now here's why that matters. What does the Bible say is in the blood?
Life.
It's in Leviticus chapter 17.
Right.
If blood and life is in the blood, and you need blood to heal stuff, if you have here's a big word, restriction.
Restriction, okay?
The word restriction, I should have put that over here. Pain release therapy over here on this one, that
Mhm.
big word is restriction.
Okay,
Because what's happened is you think of the scaffolding the body put up there, and you think of that scaffolding that the
contract,
general contractor put up. That
okay,
is the restriction. It stopped everything from working.
okay.
So until we get rid of that inflammation, the blood, like Leviticus says, can't get where it's supposed to heal it.
Well, how are we supposed to get rid of the information so that the
That's
blood
what I'm
can
about
get
to
to
tell
it?
you. So this is why I talked about the myofascial tissue. Remember what I said about myofascial tissue? It can turn from a liquid to a solid.
Right? And from a
So
solid to a liquid, okay?
the brain told the body to
Uh-huh.
create a myofascial restriction right here
Okay,
to protect it.
okay,
Number one, to tell you don't walk on it, it's broken.
okay,
Number two, to get fluids to heal it.
okay,
So once you start touching it, all right, let's see, we can skip forward to this. Here's the cool part. Pain release therapy. For your note takers, John F. Barnes method.
okay,
He has figured out like 20 or 30 years ago that the collagen, ooh, us ladies know that word collagen. The collagen layer is way down here, right? We all know that. Like that's common sense. But like here's the hairs.
okay,
Collagen layer is down here. The collagen layer is where all the inflammatory is set up.
okay,
So all that pain you're still experiencing in that broken ankle, you've got this fortress of inflammation built around your ankle that your body says, I did my job. You had a broken ankle and I gave you scaffolding. But your brain somehow didn't get the message. You're not injured anymore. John F. Barnes figured out, now this is my hand pressing on the top of the skin.
right, right,
Here's the hairs. If you go, Miss Judith, if you go to Sister Susan and you're like, girl, I need you to give me a massage. And she says, okay. She gets on here and she starts rubbing, and you're like, okay, that feels good. Can you press a little harder or whatever? Well, it kind of goes away for a minute, but then usually what happens?
comes back. They asked me if
It
you
just,
want a deep, they asked me if I want a deep massage
right,
or a
right,
light massage. What's the
right.
touch?
But even if they do a deep massage, don't you still sometimes have pain a week later?
Well, yeah.
Something's wrong. Okay, if you go to the chiropractor and you get a full adjustment, when do they ask you to come back?
And now
Next week.
next week, next week.
Why? If I take the scaffolding down over here, should you and your tenants have to go back to that building and say, the scaffolding's back up? I thought she just had it removed.
Oh, wow.
So John F. Barnes did the research and figured out. Now, I don't advocate any, I don't know what about his spiritual life. I don't know, I'm not contending for him to be your leader.
Yeah.
However, his science behind this, you cannot poke a hole in it. And it's been
Okay.
around for 30 plus years. He figured out that if I held with firm, solid pressure, not rub, 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 just hold anywhere from 90 seconds, which is 2 minutes, like
Uh-huh.
2 minutes, up to 5. So note takers, 2 to 5 minutes.
Hmm.
You are not even going to get down to the collagen layer until you hold for at least 2 minutes. So finally, when you hold for 2 to 5 minutes in that one spot that's been bothering you or
Hmm.
around it, the
Hmm.
body goes, oh, and it sends a signal and it goes beep, 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 up to the brain and goes, there's no more injury.
Oh,
Take down the scaffolding. Do it. Take it down. And once you do it, and I don't know if I have time for even my story, but I did. I suffered for 7 years. Numbness, tingling, my toe all the way up to my hip. I had bursitis. My coccyx sacrum area, right above my but between the butt cheeks at the very top. Miserable pain. Miserable pain. 7 years. Went to this therapist one time. She put her hands on my leg and she kept rubbing on my thigh and was holding. And I'm sitting there going, it's not where it's hurting. She held and held and held, and she's just talking to me and we're chatting. out of nowhere, under her hand, I felt, and I
Really?
said, "What was that?" It was warmth, it was tingling, and it felt like very much of a burst. She's holding, and I go, "What was that?" She goes, "The restriction let loose."
Wow.
Never suffered again, and that's been over 7 years ago.
Wow.
Never again. And I've seen it time and time again. I've had patients, clients who come in who can't pivot left because they have hip restrictions. They have to go this way to go get left. Literally could not turn their left leg out to pivot. I just, and so we use this. This is one tool, foam
Okay.
roller. Everybody's familiar with them, but they take them and they're like, they lay on them and they just rock and rock and rock and roll.
Mhm.
That's fine. It does something. Lay on it. Hang out there. And the reason I introduced you to my Rolly friend a minute ago, anybody who knows Dr. Walt Cross,
Mhm.
Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
he introduced us to the far infrared, with the R, infrared technology. This penetrates, melts inflammatory pockets. Uh, Pockets is not the right word. Inflammatory, restrictions.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then after we warm the area, then I might have you lay on this. So
Okay.
basically, this warms it. Lay on that. Go home and drink more water. Quit eating the inflammatory foods, and maybe do a poultice. So pain management's my thing, man. I'm telling you, I love it. So I mean,
Holly,
yeah.
I'm starting to get unexpected distractions here in my background. So we're going to have to do a part three. But let's
Okay,
summarize this part right here because we're going to
sure.
have to, it'll
I'll
be a
show right here.
part two. So what we're talking about is pain management. The first thing we need to understand is that there's a level in our tissues in the
Mhm.
makeup of our tissue level, and it's down deep. And at that level, you gave us the big word for it. What's the big word? Micro.
Myofascial tissue.
Okay, that's the level where it can be solid to liquid, liquid to solid. And when there is an injury, the brain tells it to become solid, like a scaffold, to secure it, to anchor it, to protect it. But it forgets somehow or another to tell the brain it's healed and we can take it down. And so the way you deal with that is that you have to apply pressure to it, at least 2 to 5 minutes, for the pressure to begin to. I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of something that I can't think of it right now, but if you hold it long enough, ice, if you hold solid ice in your hand for 5 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, it's going to melt. So it's that concept of getting that
Yes,
solid,
that's the exact word that my therapist used. Let
okay?
the tissue melt.
We
Yes.
want to let that tissue begin to
Yes.
turn liquid again.
Liquefy. Yes.
Okay, that's what you want to do that. And you do that by two things. The easiest thing to do is just apply physical pressure to it. And then there are some techniques or some equipment that you just showed us
Mhm.
we can do for it. And once
It helps to facilitate. Yeah.
it helps it to break and becomes more liquid. And then we need to go home and flush out the system with water so
Yes.
we can
Yeah.
wash it out. And then we need to pay attention to what we've been eating because we don't want to eat foods that will bring back information into the system. Did I
Right.
do a good summary of that?
Absolutely.
All right. Now,
Mm.
again, I need you to end the same way. Give them your name and your contact information.
Yep. So again, Holly Hiebert, we're at Cornerstone of Health in the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area, specifically Cottondale. You can reach us on the website, cornerstoneofhealth.org. All the information for contact is there. I prefer you reach out to me on Facebook. It's going to be a little quicker. So go to Facebook, look us up, Cornerstone of Health, Alabama. I'm Holly Hiebert on there as well. You're welcome to reach out to me directly. And the phone number for my direct number is on the website as well.
That is great. All right. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be doing parts 3, 4, and 5. In addition to your being our newsletter consultant, health consultant, I think we're going to have to take you out of this category, which is called just talking, and we're going to move it to medical talk. And maybe we'll do this like once a month. You up for that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sounds fine.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so, so much. All right,
Thank
be
you.
blessed. All right,
Mhm.
wait. I keep forgetting to end everything. The
Oh,
purpose of my ministry is to help us on our journeys to understanding how to live the balanced life. And truly, good health is necessary if we're going to have a balanced life. Yep.
Great.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.